A very good morning to all of you. This is the 20th lecture for the subject switchgear and protection. So in this lecture we are going to discuss regarding the concept of circuit breakers. So before starting with the concept of circuit breakers, I will throw some light on the introduction for the circuit breakers. So during the operation of the power system, it is very necessary to make or break the contacts of the transmission lines, generators, transformers, so various equipments connected to it. So in earlier days, the voltages levels are not high as much as compared in the present scenario. So use of fuse in conjunction with the relay is used in the earlier days where voltage levels are very less. So in today's scenario, in this high voltage power system, the voltage levels has increased to a greater extent. So the switch fuse assembly is not suitable in today's scenario. It may not interrupt the service as fast as the circuit breakers. So there are basically two major drawbacks in the switch fuse assembly which uh, allow us to use the circuit breakers. So the two major limitations for the switch fuse assembly is if the fuse blows out, so it will take a considerable time to replace the fuse because we are dealing with such a high voltage in the earlier days, not as high as we are using nowadays, but at that time it is not so easy to replace a fuse. It will take a considerable time, so uninterruption of supply is provided to the consumer end. The another big disadvantage is that frequent operations from the fuses are not possible, or it cannot interrupt the high voltage currents which may occur due to the external or internal factors which we have discussed already. So in order to make the operation fast, a circuit breaker switchgear equipment named circuit breaker is used nowadays to open, to make or break the circuit under normal or the abnormal conditions. Okay. So let us discuss one by one the introduction regarding the circuit breaker. So circuit breaker is basically a piece of equipment which can make or break a circuit either manually or by remote control under normal conditions as well as under abnormal conditions. It can also automatically make or break a circuit under normal as well as abnormal conditions, but the later method, where I am using the word automatically, employed the use of relays which senses the current and operate the trip coil of the circuit breaker to make or break the contacts of the circuit breaker. So we can easily on or off the equipment or the line connected across it. Okay. So what is the operating principle for this circuit breaker? So circuit breaker essentially consists of a two moving contacts. Okay. The first one is fixed contacts. There are two moving contacts in circuit breakers. There is one fixed electrode and another one is the moving electrode. So the moving electrode is moving by some mechanism. This we will going to discuss in later lecture. So there are different classifications for the circuit breakers. So the mechanism involved in the moving of the contacts of the circuit breaker involves the use of the classifications. We will discuss in classification how the moving contacts moves. Okay. So when a fault occurs on the power system, so what happens when a fault occurs on a power system? So the current get flows across the two electrodes before it get interrupted. So due to the high intensity of current at the electrodes, what happens? An arc is stuck between them. Okay. That arc must be extinguished within the shortest possible time so that it may not reach to a dangerous value by the heat generated by that arc. उसके कारण जो आर्क डेवलप होगी हमें उस आर्क को विद इन मिनिमम पॉसिबल टाइम हमें कंट्रोल करना है सो दैट इट मे नॉट रीच टू अ dangerous value. So the next thing is regarding the arc phenomenon, how the arc occurs in the circuit breakers. So it says that when a short circuit occurs, heavy current flows through the contacts of the circuit breaker before they are opened by the protective system. At the instant, at that instant, when the contacts began to separate due to the high intensity of the current, enormous heat get developed due to the opening of the contacts. So the insulating medium which is used, either it can be the air or it can be the oil. Oil get vaporized oil the medium oil get vaporized, or if the medium is air, the air get ionized. So due to that vaporization or ionization of the air, besides the two between the two electrodes, the arc structs and the current continues to flow. So if the arc resistance is high, the minimum current will flow across the arc. If the arc resistance is low, the maximum current will flow across the arc. So during that arc, how much is the current flow, that will depend upon the resistance of the arc. So in the proceedings, we shall discuss regarding the arc resistance. So the arc resistance depends upon the following factors: degree of ionization, length of the arc, and cross section of the arc. Degree of ionization means if the um, area between the two electrodes there are less number of ionized particles, so the resistance of the arc is high if there are less number of ionized particles. If length of the arc is increased, how length of the arc is increased, if the distance between the or the separation of the two electrodes gets increased, also the resistance of the or length of the arc may also get increased if the distance between the two electrodes gets increased. Then the last but not the least is the cross section of the arc. If the cross section of the arc is lesser, the resistance of the arc may also get increased. If the resistance of the arc get decreased with the increase in resistance increases with decrease in cross section of the arc. So these are the 3 points which we have to remember, how the resistance of the arc get increased so that the value of current flowing while the arc is before the arc is interrupted within the reasonable limits, because the amount of heat generated by it may damage the circuit breaker also. So this is all for today's lecture. Thank you guys.